friendship. Okay, so let's start. Okay, let's say that I was about 13 years old, so very young, 13 years old, when I started getting really hooked by cars. And when I say that, I don't mean that I was sketching, because I was not sketching. But what I would do, I would always watch down the street. I was living in a building at the fifth floor. Therefore, when I had free time, I would just go on the balcony, watch downstairs on the street, and count all the cars. It's incredible. But I would count all the brands, how many Fiat would pass during that hour I was there. And then I would check who would win that day, the match, how many Fiat compared to how many Alphas, how many Peugeot, how many Citroën, how many Mercedes, if there were sports cars like Ferraris passing by or stuff like that. And that was for me a very nice game I used to do for myself at the age of 13 years old. And that was really, I was really doing this almost every day. And then I would check the classification, I would see who was stronger, who was weak. I was hoping maybe that Peugeot would have been a little bit more, because there were not too many passing under my nose or under my balcony. So that was the beginning of this passion for cars that just came out. And believe me, the passion was not about engine. This is something I want to tell you right away. It was not engine. I was not thinking, oh, look at that car goes fast and the other car goes slow. Look at the engine noise of that car. No. I didn't care. I liked the cars. Whether they were small or they were big or they were mid-sized cars, I would just I was just looking at the cars, and I would say, as a city car, that car looks nice. It looks beautiful. For me, it was beautiful or ugly, at that time. Then I started to try on my notebooks used for school. I started trying to sketch cars with my pen, but of course I was not able to sketch. So I would do just some round that looked like potatoes, that looked like wheels. I put a ground line, and then I would do like a rectangular shape, okay, with another one on top. And on top of the hood in the front, I would put a lot of how can I say, graphics, like leaves, because for me that was like Mercedes logo on top of the hood, or the Rolls Royce, three-dimensional angel woman on the hood. And I was thinking about that because I liked very much luxurious cars. So so as I'm reading your comments, don't worry. I saw that Anish used to do the same thing, and also Ranjan used to do the same thing. Okay, I understand. So basically, you can understand that I was starting to get this approach to the car design without knowing, and at that time, I didn't know that there was a designer that would make car designs for cars. For me, a car was a Fiat. We had Fiat in Italy, it was very important. Fiat, Lancia, Alfa Romeo, Innocenti, okay? And for us, those were the main brands, or maybe Mercedes. And Audi at that time, it was not the Audi of today. So it was really bad Audi, so I don't even remember Audi at that time. We did have some Volkswagen, of course. And I have to say that for me, the industry was made of engineers, and the cars would come out, but I never questioned myself, how is it possible that a car style is out? Who makes the style? I never asked myself, because I didn't know. Then when I grew older, around 16 years old, so about 3 years later. Ciao Vikas, ciao, welcome back. I just started, don't worry, I just started. No, you are not late. I just started. We started, I tell you, less than 10 minutes ago. Okay. My passion cars began when my age was something around 1. Wow, I started knowing the names of the car. That's cool, very nice, good for you. No, mine started around 13 years old. So when I became 16 years old, I start buying, because when you are 16, I mean at that time, okay, you have always to think about my time, which was late 70s, okay? Most of you were not born yet, I know. So we are just after the 60s, when the 68 there was the young revolutions, you know, the feminist people, the people against the workers against the owner of the big companies. It was a period of very strange. There was a terrorism started in Italy and in some other countries. So political problems. So it was a period where, you know, you go to school, you stay home. You can go out with your friends, but it's not that you are always out with your friends. So I was staying home. But when I was 16, I had my father said, okay, if you have friends, go out. So I start going out, and I start buying a magazine which is called Gente Motori. Gente Motori is a magazine. Hi, human. Ciao, welcome back. Gente Motori is just a car magazine, okay? Car magazine, very famous in Italy, like Quattro Ruote, for example. But believe me, Auto and Design, which is the most important car magazine for us designers, was not sold in Italy, in South Italy, because I come from South Italy, very small town in South Italy. And over there, the stuff of the automobile industry was zero, really zero. We just would have normal car magazine. So I would buy car magazine and read which were the new cars coming out, which were the new restylings that came out, the difference between the old car and the new one. And then there was a guy that was one of the... Hi Ali, ciao Ali, welcome back. And then there was an illustrator, a young illustrator named Mark Strauenberger. I don't know if you ever heard this name, you should go and check him. Check this name today, he's a little bit older than me. And we are very good friends, by the way, okay? And there was this German guy that had a very nice technique in sketching with markers, the markers of that time, and he would make all those nice sketches of the restyling of cars that will come later. So you will not have at that time the photo of the car with the new restyling. You would have the sketch made by this illustrator, designer, which was Mark Strauenberger. And when I saw the sketches from Mark, I said, wow, look at this guy, he's sketching cars. I know how to paint, I know how to sketch, maybe I can do the same thing. So I start sketching cars, looking the way he was doing it. And I start copying his technique. I tried to copy his technique. And for me, that was the only way to have an example of somebody sketching. So it was just a picture of an illustration of a car magazine. There were probably 3 or 4, according to the projects and the brands that they were ready to send new cars on the market. And there were those drawings, which were done from the photos, of course, but they were drawings. And I really loved that. That made me dream, really. For me, it was dreaming, you know. So what did I do? I start sketching like that, and I start buying lots of markers, because I learned that he was using markers. So I went to an art store and I said, how can I do drawings in color like that? And there was a guy selling that explained to me the color pencils, the markers, the tools. So I bought some of this stuff. Then I bought also the right paper, because for markers you need the marker paper, and also in the 70s there was marker paper, okay? So I bought everything and I closed myself in my room and I started to try. And of course it was a big mess at the beginning. I really didn't know how to do. I was doing big potatoes. I didn't understand if I had to sketch big, small. I got so frustrated. I really didn't know how to do. So I was in a dead point. I was trying day by day and everything was really trash. Believe me, it was really bad. I developed passion for cars by trying to know all the names of car company, identify a particular car. And I guess you're yeah, Michelle, same thing for me. Mr. Agneker, yeah, Michelle, same thing for me. That's what I said before. So basically, I was trying, and then I didn't know what I didn't know. Then I went back with a pen. Then I used a pencil. I tried to make and then I told myself, I have to try to make a perspective. I cannot sketch only in side view. So I tried to make the perspective, but of course it didn't come out right. So I learned that the only perspective I was able to do was the one a little bit on top view, okay, with the vanishing point going on one way and the other one in horizontal, which is a typical geometrical perspective, you know, for solids. Because in school I was good in drawing and in drawing in perspective, buildings or stuff like that. So I told myself I have to apply the same rules for the car. It's gonna be the same thing. So that was a start where my brain started to be connected to color, perspective, and the subject that was the car. And I started to make the synthesis of all this, try to make sense. And believe me, I was only by myself. No internet, no TV program about design, not at all. No TV program about car design, impossible. No magazine that show you the design process, like auto design or car styling. Impossible, because undoubtedly they were not sold, and nobody knew about the existence of those magazines. Okay, so I start talking. By the way, at that time I finished college, and I had to enroll myself to university. So I was 18 years old, and of course, because my father was a businessman in taxes and stuff like that, he had a big business about that. He said, you know, the office, it's for you. I'm doing all this for you. So we have to go and enroll to university, which is going to be economy. I said, what? Yeah, business administration. So I said, okay. Just a curious question. How was your academics in school? What do you mean, my academics in school? Have a nice for such a design for time. Okay, good for you, Tex. It's Tex. Okay, good for you, huh? Watch out, do it well, huh? Ishan, so which magazine do you prefer for design? I won't answer to your question now. Let me explain my story, and after I am here for all your questions. Don't worry, okay? Syed, you're not late. Don't worry. I just arrived, me at the age of 18, okay? So we are still 4 years ago. All right. So I told my father, okay, I will enroll in. I mean, in grades, Anish, I was in scientific high college, science, math, chemic, chemistry, philosophy, Latin, Italian, literature, drawing, technical drawing. Those were the classes I was following when I was in high school. Okay, so I told my father, okay, because I did not have the idea that car design was a real profession. So for me, it was like a hobby. Like I have a hobby for painting, or playing the music, I have a hobby to draw the cars. Even if that was a very strong passion, much stronger than the other ones, you know. Oh, yes, yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. All right, so I go to university and I start university. And I realized right away that it was a little bit complicated for me because I didn't find myself really in my place, you know. When I went to university, I start telling myself, why am I doing this? Is this really what I want? You know, when you start asking those questions you are in university, it's a little complicated, you know, because you understand that probably you're doing something more for your father than for yourself. Father used to draw cars and try to do the same thing, and it was selling a car for. All right, cool, Mahmoud. That was very good for you to have a father that draws cars. It was not my case. So I started to do something. I was going to university, and then I told my father if in his office, he had a big office with several rooms, okay? And he had one room which was the room where you put all the file, okay? At that time, everything in paper, okay? All the file of all his clients. So there was a room that basically was empty. There were no people working there. It was just like an archive, you know, like a bibliothèque. And I told my father, I said, excuse me, can I put one of the desk and a chair in this room? I don't disturb anybody, so that I can draw here. And my father said, yeah, of course you can do this. That's no problem. This is the office that the company will be yours one day. So you can do it, no problem. But don't forget that you have to study economy at university. I said, yeah, of course, don't worry. Okay, so I went over there and I brought my colors, my papers. I had the white wall on the left which was empty. And I told myself, okay, now I am going to try to draw cars. I have a studio, I have my lamp, I have my paper, I have all my art tools. Damn it, I have to try, I have to be able to do it. And that's when things started to change for me. Because I start drawing, I start making sketches, and I realized after a few months that my cars, even inside view, they start looking like cars. Because before that they were just ugly potatoes, believe me. So I told myself, well, you know what? I need somebody to look at this, to tell me whether I'm doing well, I'm doing bad, and so who can watch in my town this type of drawings to give me a feedback? That's very difficult. But then I had friends from my ex-class that were going to engineering, and they saw my sketch. They said, yeah, but this is like mechanical engineering. You can come with me one time university, my university, mechanical engineering. We will show this to my teacher, and he will give you a feedback. And so I was very happy. I said, yeah, if this is the way, I can switch to mechanical engineering. I can become a car designer, maybe. So I take my drawings, and one day I go with my friend to his university. And I didn't say this to my parents. This was all without saying anybody. So I take the bus with him, and we go to his university. So at the end of the class, after 3 hours of engineering in which I didn't understand anything, but really anything, my friend calls the teacher, said, teacher, can I ask you a favor, please? So the teacher was very serious, engineer, said, yes, what are you looking for? Said, here I have a friend of mine, his name is Luciano Bove, he's from this town. He makes those drawings, can you give him a feedback? So he looked at the drawing and said, I don't know what to do with this. This is artistic stuff, but this is not engineering. We don't make cars like that. So I'm sorry, this is mechanical engineering. If you want to do mechanical engineering, you can enroll in this school, but we don't care about cars, not at all. So please decide what you want to do. So when he told me that, I felt so bad. I said, it's incredible. It was very incredible, the teacher's reaction. I mean, my drawings were bad. They were not beautiful drawings. But still, you have somebody young that has lots of drawings, and the only thing that you know how to say, basically, I don't care what you're doing. If you want to be an engineer, come to mechanical engineering. I mean, I found that very strange. So I told myself, you know what? This will remain just like my hobby. It doesn't exist. This is not a profession. It's just a hobby. And then my friend said that was doing engineering, he said, but Luciano, how is it possible it's a hobby? Then the people that make the cars, how do they do a car with the round lights or rectangular lights with this section or the other section? There must be somebody that is doing something like you're doing. And then I said, you know what, you're not, it's not bad what you say, because probably he's right. You're right. Then I have to, we have to make a research. He said, yeah, we have to make a research. Okay, all right. So I went back home. We went back home. And then one day on TV, there was from Torino a live reportage of the automobile auto show in the beginning of the 80s, and they were interviewing a very young Giorgetto Giugiaro that on his stand he was presenting his concept car, and he was saying words like we designed this car, me with my team, and then he was showing some sketches of the concept car that were on the stand, on the wall, and the camera was showing all that. So I told myself, but this is exactly what I'm trying to do. This is exactly what I'm trying to do. So this is a profession. This guy is on TV. And I told my father, we were all eating, you know, it was lunchtime. The TV was in front, TV black and white at that time. Huh? So the TV was in front of us and without remote control. So we were watching the news and there was this reportage, and my father was a car lover. So he was very curious about the reportage, okay? So it's not that he was against, he was very happy to watch it. And when I told him, but look, mom and dad, look, this is a profession, there, my father ignored completely. My mother said, yeah, but look, this guy probably did some special studies, you know. Maybe it's only in the North Italy and not in the South Italy. So, from that day, my first objective was to find all the information about Giorgetto Giugiaro, because I needed to know his story, how he started, how he'd end up there and stuff. Then buying another car magazine, I discovered that there was Giorgetto Giugiaro with Ital Design, there was Pininfarina Industry with Pininfarina Design, then there was Bertone, and then from one day to another, a whole world opened up into my head. So my brain was full of information. I knew that that was a real profession. Now there is a very strange thing that happened. Life is made of coincidence sometimes. And I don't know if this is pure luck or it's simply because that's how life has to go. But my father, in Italy at that time, he became very famous to be the one that writes some laws for the government in the, how can I say, for taxpayer stuff, you know, to simplify laws, the law. And the government in Italy asked him to help the government, the Minister of Work, okay, of business, to rewrite some laws. So this was a new thing for my father. My father was very happy. He came back home one day and said, hey, the government just asked me to do this. So we were very, very proud of him, you know. He was very, very good, very well prepared about that stuff. He was at that time one of the most famous in Italy about that job. So he was in connection with some ministers of the government. And sometimes during Saturdays, I would drive the car to Rome, where there is the the parliament and all the politicians are, okay, in Italy, in Rome, which is the capital of Italy, Roma. And he said, you drive the car because I'm really tired. I used to work a lot. And so you give me company, and then we go for lunch with this minister and the other minister, because I had to discuss about the law that I'm writing. I said, okay. I was 19 years old. For me was to be, how can I say, to be at lunch with a minister was something extremely important. I mean, me coming from a small town was something really out of my mind. So we were there. Of course, I was in silent, and they were talking. I was eating stuff, and then I don't know how. I just said, Mr. Minister, may I ask you a question? My father watched me like, what the hell you want to say? Shut up. We are talking about business. And the minister was very, very nice. He said, yes, of course. Tell me, which question? And I said, do you know Giugietto Giugiaro? And the guy and the minister said, yeah, of course we know him. He's a designer. He's one of our best excellence in Italy in car design and stuff. So my father started getting a little bit mad because he wanted me to be in economy. But then at the same time, he was very curious too, to understand more about this unknown field for him. And my father was somebody very practical, you know. We do only what we can do. We try to do it the best, but only what we can do, you know. So the minister said that, and then we finished like that. There was no another thing. Then the day finished, we finished our lunch. They said goodbye, goodbye. We took the car. Went back home. 3 hours in the car of driving. And while I was driving, I was telling my father, I said, but did you see? You don't know anybody that can see my drawings. I need somebody to see my drawing. And he said, Luciano, stop it, because that's the university is the one you are in now. We have a business. I'm running the business, but I'm getting old. The business will be for you, and all that stuff. So that was a very bad drive coming back, because in a way I knew that there was an opportunity, and on the other side I had him saying, stop it. You know. Okay, so. You know, I was very young. I go back home. I was mad. I talked to my mother. I told her, I don't understand why he's doing like that. And she said, Baba, come on. Look what his business. I mean, he's going to leave this business to who? So try to understand that. And I said, yeah, I understand that. But if I don't like numbers, I don't like economy, I don't like tax stuff, I understand he's a great man in that. And I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of myself for being his son. But I don't share the same passion. He is doing this because he has a strong passion for that, which was true. My father had an incredible passion for that. He would never say no. The minister gave him a job, he would take it, you know. And then someone else gave him an opportunity in the same field to do some extra work, and he would say, yes, I can do that. For him it was a great challenge. And I feel the same way for my business today. But we share probably the same management, organization mentality, but on different type of fields. And at that time, I didn't know. So I kept on driving on the weekends the car to Rome, because my father had an office in Rome, and I would just sit down on a chair in this office, and he would receive the people that he was supposed to make meetings with. So I would just hear, you know, and I was constantly listening to all the debates, the discussions, the topics they were discussing about. And most of all, I was admiring the way my father was able to talk about that type of things, and how he was able to guide those people to do the right thing. And he was really like a real solid manager. And I started studying a little bit his mental approach about management, how he would take a decision, how he would help other people to take a decision, how he would orientate a discussion in a way that would be positive for him, and all that stuff. So without knowing, I was going to an incredible life lesson of management with him. And this was almost every Saturday. Then I would go during the week to the university in economy. And this lasted for almost a year. Then one day, the only child or you, well, it's a little bit complicated, Anish. I had three sisters, but I'm the only male. So that's why at that time, I think in India is similar. At that time, the boy would take the father's business, not the ladies. It's okay. Don't worry, Anish. It's fine. So, but I had to tell you that I own everything to my mother, to my father, everything, and now I will tell you why. You will realize that then when you have a good parents, even if at the beginning it can become very difficult, then it becomes an incredible resource and an incredible key for your own success. Ciao Matteo, just started, no, but almost. Okay, so basically this went on for several months. Then one day we got several clashes, of course, with my father. Nothing very bad, but it was always a no. And then suddenly, one time he had to go to the parliament to discuss that law that he wrote. So he was in the parliament, in Italian parliament, discussing that law, and I did not go with him because it was during the week. I was in school, I was at university. So 2 days later he comes back and he calls me. And he says, Luciano, I have to talk to you. I said, yeah. I was thinking, what did I do wrong? Because I was still sketching on my side. I was still trying to learn by myself. And then he said, you know what? There is something very interesting that happened yesterday when I was in Rome. After that, I discussed that law that I wrote for the parliament that was approved. So I'm very happy. I had the opportunity to meet the president of the small industries in Italy. There is a sort of company, how can I say, association, okay? Matteo and Andrea, they know very well, because this association is called l'Associazione Industriali Italiani, okay? Confindustria. And the president of Confindustria of that time was Sergio Pininfarina, which was the son of Pininfarina Pinin, the one that opened for the first time the Pininfarina coach building, Pininfarina design. And Sergio Pininfarina at that time was in his 45, and he was the president of Confindustria. And he was very interested to the type of law that my father rewrote for the parliament. So they were all there voting. And when he went out and my father was introduced to him, and he knew who was Pininfarina because my father used to buy Lancia car. And all the Lancias at that time were all designed by Pininfarina. My father said, I have to talk to you. And Mr. Pininfarina said, yeah, no problem. Let's go and eat together. So they went into a small restaurant in front of Montecitorio, which is where the area where all the politicians are in Rome. Typical thing, okay? And they went to eat together. And my father told Pininfarina, said, I need to ask you a great favor, because in this moment with my son, I'm having a very difficult relationship. He's young, he loves cars like me, but he's drawing a lot. I don't know if he's doing well or wrong. He's convinced that he can become a designer like Giugiaro. He always talks to me about Giugiaro, that you might know. But I don't have the expertise to tell him, yes, you are good, or no, you are bad. So I don't know what to do. And besides, you know that I have such a big, important studio about taxpayer stuff. it's a pity that I have to think that this studio I have to sell to someone because so I am in a very bad situation. I don't know what to do. What would you do if my son were your son? And that's when everything changed. That's the beginning of the life change I had. Because my father came back and said, Luciano, I have some news for you. We have to talk. It's very serious. I want that your mother listens also to us. So we called my mother. We were alone, all three in séjour, okay, on the couch. And he said, now listen to me very careful. I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Pininfarina yesterday when I was in Rome. So I asked him the favor, and he said yes, to receive you in his studio in Cambiano in Torino. You will be received by 3 expert designers. Then we will be looking at your drawings, okay? So you have to prepare all your drawings into at that time we had a portfolio made of cardboard, that you close like that with a little cord, on the side. So you put all your drawings there. You will. I already bought the train ticket for you. You will stay 1 night in the hotel in Torino. I already reserved the hotel for you. There is a friend of mine that works with me in the parliament. He's from Torino. He knows Pininfarina. He will come and pick you up at this time. He will take you there. The meeting is already set up. You will come back, and then they will look at your stuff. Then they will call me, and they will tell me what to do. And then we will decide what to do. So when he told me that, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I was taking a train with my drawings. I was gonna go into Pininfarina Design Studio. For me, it was like, I was thinking that my father was telling me, hey man, now you have to go to school, or I'm gonna kill you or something like that. And something changed. Because I know that my mother talked to him a lot. And basically my mother made a very simple storytelling to him. Said, look, Emilio, you look all the good things you are doing. You are an honest man, you are a big worker, you work 14 hours a day, but why do you do it? Not just because you have to make the money, because it's your passion. You are always with the big challenge. Now it's these little things with the politics, and then there is the other thing about the other big company. You are driven by passion. And we all love you for that. And you are very happy to work. It's not a sacrifice for you. Now look how many hours a day your son is trying to draw cars to learn on his own without anybody teaching him. Don't you think that is passion too? And don't you think that he has this artistic sort of a talent or passion because he makes paintings, he draws very well with a pencil, he always comes back from school with the drawing of a classmate's face or something like that. So why should we tell him stop all this and just do the numbers because somebody with passion for numbers is imposing you that? If somebody was it going to impose you something different, how would you feel? So if you can do something thanks to your passion, why can't we offer him at least to try to do something for his life, for his job that is driven by his passion, if this profession exists really? So this was what my mother was trying to explain to him during those, I would say, couple of months, in the evening when you are alone, the parents are alone, and they talk. And my father would arrive very late from work, and then she would ask about all of us, how was the day, how we were going to school, if there were problems, and then they would talk by themselves and stuff like that. So I take the train and I go to Torino. I get into this hotel. Was my first time alone in a hotel, my first time alone in a train, And the train from Salerno to Torino at that time was like 12 hours because we did not have fast trains at that time. So you get into this train, I got completely tired, but I was so excited that I couldn't feel any, anything. The morning after, at 8 o'clock sharp, I had my breakfast. I was downstairs, and this friend of my father arrived with the car, presented himself, was very, very gentle, very, very kind, got into the car, and we go to Cambiano. So we enter into the glass Pininfarina design studio construction, where are all the cars in the entrance. We get there, and we are announced to the reception desk that there was a meeting, and I got three people that were with me. The first one that received me was the design director of that time, that then became a sort of a friend, engineer Lorenzo Ramashotti. And those that are the Italians probably know him. If you guys don't know, you should go and check. I write to you the name here. Lorenzo Ramashotti. Oops, I made a mistake. Wait a second. Okay, Lorenzo Ramashotti. That's the first person. He was the design director of Pininfarina design at that time, in that period. Okay, so it was very serious. It was not a smiling people, very northern from North Italy, which are a little bit different from people from South Italy. Okay, very professional. He was saying, "Hey, look, I saw your drawings. I think there is a lot of work to do, but I prefer that two of my best designers will look at your drawings, okay, and they will tell you, and then they will give me a feedback, okay? Maybe they can also show you how to use correctly the pencil, some markers, okay? Because we know all this. We know all this. Okay, so he calls the telephone. Then there are two people with a beard. They come and they were Diego Ottina. And guess all those people after we became college, because when I was in Fiat, years after, I was working with Pininfarina on a Fiat project, and we had the opportunity to meet each other. Another one is somebody that sad news just died less than a year ago, Aldo Brovarone. He's a real maestro, and Aldo Brovarone is the one that sketched with me a little bit, watching my drawings, and he said, look, if you want to sketch cars, you have to do like this. I show you. He took a piece of paper with marker, pencil, he made a nice side view, he made a nice perspective, and for the first time in my life, I saw a real designer sketching a car in front of me with pencil and markers. Can you understand? I was 19 years old. It was 1984. Okay? So, you can understand how I felt in that moment. For me, it was like I was already with my head in another world. Even coming back, even if my father would have said, no, you have to keep on doing economy, I guess I would have escaped, I don't know. But I was in such a state of mind that I told myself, it's not possible that I taste all this and I have to give up all this. And then I said to Mr. Brovarone, I said, but how did you study for this? He said, no, back at my time it was not, we did not have the real schools, who is architect, who is engineer, but we had passion as a car designer. So we learned between each other, so the one that were before, but today there are schools, very important schools, very good schools, not in Italy, but in foreign countries. I said, oh my God, foreign countries, it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna. I said, which one are the schools? He said, yeah, one school, it's Royal College in London. We take some people from Royal College as young designers. Or the other one, which I think is better, is Art Center College of Design in America. In America there are two schools, but the Art Center is top, number one. Then there is also CCS that came out, in reality CCS came out a little bit later, but Royal Art Center, the only problem that America is very far, it's more expensive, you have to do all the years there. Royal College London, it's closer, probably it's better, but anyway, don't worry about that. I think that you should try to sketch the way I did, okay? And work hard. We will talk, we will give the feedback to Mr. Ramashotti, and then he will talk to your father, okay, as promised. So I was very happy. Then I made a little visit in the entrance where they have the showroom with all the concept, which I loved, of course, and then we left. I can understand how you felt. Happened to me when you gave me feedback on my sketch. All right, Mahmoudi, thank you, but I'm not a maestro, not at that level, believe me. Anyway, what Art Center expensive back then? Yeah, very expensive, Anish, very expensive. It has been always expensive. Then you had to put also the money that you need to live, and you need to buy a car because Los Angeles is not like in a small town. No, without a car you cannot, because public transportation is not very developed in America like it is in Europe or maybe in India. It's complicated. So basically, I take the train, I go back to my country, to my town, and I go back home. The day after, my father called me again. He said to my mother and to me, said, hey, so I received a phone call from Pininfarina, and I'll tell you what we are going to do. So first of all, I want you to keep on going to the university in economy, because we never know in life, okay? Maybe it's just a bad beginning, and then probably you start like it, and therefore you will keep on being in this university. At the same time, I know that it is very important to learn English language. I speak English because I did the war, and I learned English during the war, and today I can tell you, I see in the business or in our society that a lot of people start speaking English. And when you speak English, you can speak to the world. Therefore, my priority number one, Luciano, is that you learn how to speak English. And to do that, you have to do, in a way, what happened to me. You cannot do this in Italy. You can do this in a foreign country. So, we can do this in September, if you want, if you agree. I would like you to go for 1 year in an intensive English as second language school in America. We could go in California, which is also the same state where Art Center College of Design is, and you should just think about, be concentrated in learning English. It's a tough school, 6 hours per day, 6 months. Okay, and I just want you to be concentrated on that. You will complete this first year of economy, because it can be always useful, and in September we take a pause from university in Italy. You will leave, you will go there. Okay, the college is a college with dorms and cafeteria and everything inside, so that we don't worry too much that you are alone over there. You will be in a college with all other students, with international students, and I think that that's a very good experience you can make for yourself. You will learn English, and then we will see which one will be next step. Okay, so basically it was the beginning of saying, you know what, you go to America, and now it's up to you to make sure that Art Center accepts you. Because it was obvious that when I got in America and after a few months I start speaking a little bit of English, the first thing I would do, take my car and go to Los Angeles with my drawings, because I kept on drawing. Also, I started drawing even more when I was studying English in Oakland. I was in Oakland, in Northern California, very close to San Francisco. So, when you will study it and where? I was in Oakland and in you asking to Mahmoudi. Okay, sorry, you guys. I was getting into your conversation. Okay, so basically, just to make it a little bit faster, just to go a little bit faster, I started when I was doing English language. After the first 3 months, I had hard times in speaking English. So I started getting a little bit depressed. I told myself, maybe this is all a big mistake. I was already going to Berkeley Art College in Berkeley to learn techniques, to sketch with markers, to learn about architecture drawing, to do blueprint drawings, you know, the black chiaroscuro, the one that I kind of know how to do today. What car did you have there in California? I had the first one was a Oldsmobile Caprice Coupe, the first one. And the second one, when I was in Art Center, I had a Toyota Corolla of the 80s, okay, 82 or 83, or 84, I think. So was of course they all were used cars, very used cars, because they were cheap. So basically, what happened is that one day I called my family. I said, you know, I made a big mistake. I thank you very much, but I apologize. I don't think I can make it. I don't speak very well English. I have hard time to learn. The only good thing is that in school it's okay. And by the way, I went to Art Center, and Art Center said, you know, your drawings are not bad. We can hire you, but you have to do 2 years of general education in Pasadena City College, because your Italian college in America is not recognized. So in order to access to university level, college level, you need a diploma, an American diploma. And the easiest way is to get this general education diploma, in which you can put all the art courses you want, so that in 2 years you are eligible to get in. So when they told me, in a way I was happy, because they told me you can get in. In the other way, I was very sad and depressed, because I did not have the opportunity to get in right away. There was a waiting list, the diploma to take. There was 2 more years to do. So I drove back to Oakland, and I told my father, I said, look, I apologize. I'm making you spend money for nothing. And 2 more years, it's useless. They don't take me right away. And then my father stopped me and said, no, Luciano, you don't understand. Now we decided that we were going to do this. The school accepted you. They just told you that you missing some requirements. Then you work your behind off. You go to that school. You do your general education diploma. You do your best. I don't want you to think that you have to work to help me on the money. No, I just want you to be studying, get your diploma, keep on sketching, keep on getting better with your drawings, transfer yourself to Pasadena once you finish English, so in next 3 months. Your English is gonna improve 100%, don't worry. Now we are dancing, and we're gonna dance until the end, okay? So when he told me that, I felt, of course, much better. And then I felt most of all that I was not alone. Because that time was the first time I felt my father, not my mother was already behind me, but my father really behind me. And that was very important psychologically for me. because I didn't want to do something that would have made him feel, sad about my behavior, or not very happy about my behavior, stuff like that. So from that day, I worked very hard. I went to art center, and in 1989, I complete art center. I make my graduation. If you watched my TEDx, you probably saw some images of my graduation. Over there you can have a little bit more information about the experience. And when I was ready to go back to Italy, I already got 4 interviews to get a job. And between those, Fiat with Chris Bangle. So Chris Bangle called the school, and they wanted to know if there were some Italians or some foreigners that from Europe that would like to go back to Europe, because most of the people love to work in America, because in America contracts are very, very good at that time. You would make really good money, and the school said, yeah, there is an Italian here, and few other Europeans. So they gave me my name, and then I got the meeting set up very, 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 very fast. And 1 month later, I graduated at the end of August. 1 month later, I was in Italy. I went to Torino with my portfolio. I visited all the design studios in Torino and Milano with Alfa Romeo. I had my meeting set up with Chris Bangle. Chris Bangle made the offer right away. Basically said, I really hope that I think you have to go to visit all the others, but I really hope that you can accept us if we make you an offer, official offer. So I visited everybody. Then I went back to my town in South Italy. I waited, and after 3 weeks, I got the phone call that was saying that Fiat was going to hire me. And therefore, all the list of documents I had to prepare in order to go to Torino with my documents and get hired legally by Fiat. And there my real life started, because I went back to my life, not as a student, but I was already, after 6 years of America, I lived alone on my own. I knew how to move myself, how to manage the money in my hands, how to be responsible. When I went back to in the family, it's always a little bit strange. You have your parents, your sister, your room again. In a way, you are very happy. In another way, it's very strange, because you already have a certain independent type of life after 6 years in a foreign countries. And that's what my son, both of them are going to do in a couple of months, because one of them will go 1 year as exchange student in USA, and the other one in Ireland. So both of them, one full scholastic year, they will be out, and I think that experience for them will be great. They will come back. They are 17 years old. They will be back when they will be 18 years old in 1 year from this month, in June next year. And I think that they will be very, very happy. They are very excited. I think that they have to make that experience. Just like my father and my mother gave me the opportunity to make this experience. I didn't tell you, of course, that my sisters came, all of them came to visit me, my mother also. They were several weeks with me because I rented a house, a small house with another classmate. So we had each one had its own bedroom. We are roommates, a small house. By the way, a few days ago I went on Google Maps. I found a house in Altadena, next to Pasadena, which was the cheapest area at that time. And the house is still there. That just has a new color, but I remember very well. Very nice house with a fireplace, and that's where I lived almost 6 years of my life, and where I grew up like a young man. And then when I came back, so I go to Torino, I start working, and for after 1 year that I was working in Fiat, Chris tells me a weekend, hey, come with me, we're gonna go to Art Center Europe, and we are going to go to see the graduation of Art Center Europe. You know, you will find some teachers that were your teachers in America. They are teaching here in Switzerland. You know, you will be happy to see them again. So we went for this weekend, and then it's there that the director of the school asked me if I was willing to teach on the weekends, on Saturday class at the Art Center Europe. At the beginning I said, no, I'm too young. I never taught in my life. I don't even know if I'm able to do it. And he was saying, yeah, but don't worry, just like other young designers, I need somebody that's teaching sketches, basics of drawing, stuff like that. So I said no. But 6 months later, in September, he said, come on, he called me, come on, Luciano, why don't you come again? Why don't you come and teach? I explained to you better how to do. You see, it's not that hard. And that's when I said yes, and I started my career as a teacher too in design. So I taught at the Art Center Europe for 4 years, every weekend. I loved it so much to be with the students. I was very young, I was 30 years old, not even 30 years old. And most of design directors today, you know, are ex-students of mine. They went through Art Center Europe. And we are still very good friends. And then for 4 years, every Saturday, I used to go over there to teach. Then the Italian Design School, IAAD, asked me to teach. So I went teaching there in the evening, during the week. And then after 4 years, Art Center in 94 closed because they could not find any more enough teachers. The design studios were too far from the school, and there was not always the availability of people to go and teach, so they did not have any more teachers, and they decided to close the school. And it's then that the Istituto Europeo di Design in Torino asked me to make a project, to write down a project for the first transportation design department in that school. So I write this, I was so excited. I write the whole program, you know, first year, second year, third year, how many teachers, how many students, the entry portfolio interview, the selection, the fact that I could flank people, because in Art Center we got people that were flanked if you did not study. So the school said, okay, all right, we do that too. And we started. In October 94, the Transportation Design Department in Istituto Europeo di Design in Torino was open with me. At the beginning we were 4 teachers, 6 students. And then we moved from 6 students to 15 students the year after. And 6 teachers became 10 teachers. Okay? And I was the chairman and also one of the teachers. I'm picturing everything while you are telling. This feels like a movie. Yeah, it's a little bit like a movie, Anish. Thanks. Thank you. So I was the chair. I had 2 contracts with the school. A contract as a chairman because I had a big important responsibility. I was the chairman of Transportation Design Department, which meant also public relations with journalists, auto design, for example, coming in, taking photos, writing reportage, making, you know, lots of interviews. For example, let me see. You know, like here, for example, if we go and search, in my opinion, we can find even stuff done from my class. Here is where there are my sketches. my Fiat sketches. Yeah, here. You see those ones? Can you see? Those are my sketches. Yeah, also those ones in blue. Yeah, but I wanted to show you the. I want to give you one example, you know. Yeah, here we go. This is Istituto Europeo di Design. And this is the work of my class, you know. All the models, because we used to make models, everything correctly, yeah. You know. Those are the little ones. You can see that every model is different. Every model is different design. You see? And now I will show you, of course, there is an interview to me here. It's normal. And here you can see, now, this model, the exterior model, you see, was the first model we made in 1-to-1 scale, okay, in a design school, in Istituto Europeo di Design. The first time that the school made a 1-to-1 scale model. This was sponsored project by Fiat, okay? And the guy that made the design, and of course I was coaching, all right, because it was a young student. His name is Luca Borgogno. Okay? Now I will write down Luca Borgogno name, then you go and check and see what he became today. Luca is still a friend of mine, okay? Borgogno. Google this name and you will find who he is today. You know? Then here, for example, this was done by Nicola Danza. Now, if you go Google the name Nicola Danza, you will discover that he is an important design manager. Okay? Here we have the Argentinian Alan Matano. Here, this one, Alan. And Alan has been in Pininfarina designer, and today he has his own car design school in Argentina. You know? Alessandro Silva. Alessandro Silva is one of the most important design manager for Fiat LCV in design studio. They all got hired, all of them, because we were preparing them really well. That's the truth, you know. Let me see. Okay, this is, and then I think that I have others, because I have the old ones where we can find, yeah, this one. Look, this one when I was at IAAD, 2D work. Look at the quality. This is not Art Center. This is in Italy. With me and Zapatina's teaching. Look. And we had also Carlos Sanchez teacher with us. Me and Carlos Sanchez and Andreas Zapatinas, all three from Art Center. And we were teaching at IAAD when the school was only one room. So I'm talking to you a long time ago, before it became the important school that it is today. So, now, one thing important I want to show you. Let's talk about name. This one, Niccolò Azzara, Italiano. He's a very good designer today. You can see for who he worked and what he does today. Then we have this one, Diego Oro. Look how nice. Done with chalk. Those are done with chalk, marker and chalk. Then we have, I'm searching for the names. Okay, this is Ernest. He's a design manager in Fiat. This one. Oops. This one. That's the model. But look how nice is this stuff. I mean, this is really nice. Look. Ciao Patricio. Bienvenido. And here we have Alex, Papa Alex, Alessandro Papa. And here there is our picture. Look. This is my class. And I was here. You can see. So, here we have some of the really good designers that today are designers in several, this one, which year is this one? 94. Maybe 94 there is from 94 should be from IED. Let me see if there is something about design schools. Because sometimes we had design school stuff, some other times Auto Design would do other design schools and not ours. So it depends on the year. Okay, so basically, I gave you some. No, those are old. Okay, let me check this one. This is the last one, and after we can keep on. Ishant, yes, it's Auto and Design. You can Auto and Design magazine. You can get a subscription. It's a little expensive, and they will send it to you at home. Let me see if no, here there are no articles about design schools. We did not have those articles every year. So or every time the this is my old let me see this one. You see this work? This is work of an ex-student of mine. And you can see he's very, very good. He worked at Fiat many years. He got hired in Fiat. Italian guy. Okay, here there is other stuff from my school, from YED. When I was teaching at YED. I can show you. Look, Piaggio project. Look. You can see that there is always a big variety of design. People are not copying each other's. This was the time where I said to everybody, you cannot copy someone else. Impossible. Each one must show their own creativity. Piaggio project. You see? So now let's read some names. Paolo Trevisan, this one, Paolo Trevisan, okay? Paolo Trevisan is a design director of Pininfarina, South America, today. Marcello Zuffo, the one that did this nice scooter. He's a good industrial designer. I think he's an independent. Okay, so I gave you a little bit of I gave you a little bit of information and about what we did when I was teaching. You know, the results I could get when I was teaching, and so I always had two jobs basically. Of course, Fiat was very happy about it. Okay, everybody knew it. So basically, I was during the day a car designer, and starting in the evening around 6:30 in the afternoon, I was a teacher and a chair of the transportation design department of that school. And this have done this for 11 years. And then one day I have a good friend of mine, because when you work you start meeting a lot of people, you make new friends, of course, in the business. It tells me, you know, Luciano, I know that Renault is searching for a design manager, because meanwhile I made a few projects that went into production, so my name was associated to the projects on in the magazine, you know, like the Fiat 600. When the car came out, there was my picture with the car and stuff like that. So basically, hey Simone, ciao. Simone, hai visto quello che ho fatto vedere fino adesso? O sei arrivato adesso? Se no ti guarderei il video all'inizio, un po' prima, perché ho fatto vedere un sacco di lavori dei miei ex studenti di scuola, pubblicati su Auto e Design. Può essere molto interessante anche per te, ok? Alright, so just this was just a message for Simone. I don't know if he got just now connected or he's watching since a long time, but anyway, so basically, you know, you get all those friends, and then one friend tells me, you know, why don't you try to go to Renault? Now it's 11 years you are in Fiat, maybe it's time to change. And as I always say, the second move, it's very important when you change work, because the first one, it's important because it's the first experience you make. Ok? Ok Simone, non fa niente, dopo guardati, bravo, dopo torna indietro perché ci sono delle cose molto interessanti per te. So what happens that the second move, it's very important. Ciao Abhishek, how are you? See you next Monday. And basically what happened is that Renault was at that time was much better than Fiat in terms of design. With Monsieur Patrick Leclément, there was a lot of beautiful, fantastic publicity on magazine, on TV, everywhere, you know. Renault design here, Renault design there, Renault concept car, Renault design concepts. So I told myself, if there is this opportunity, I think I have to jump on the opportunity. This is like a train, you know. When you get that train, it's passing by, it slows down, you have to decide to jump in, and then it goes fast again. So you have to decide, what do you do? Do you jump or not? And I told myself, yeah, it's true, I will give up the school, I give up the friends, I will give up the apartment with my garden that I just bought it, you know, that I just bought since a year. But this is something so exciting. So let's do step by step. I always told myself, and my father told me the same thing, because by that time my father became a big sponsor of me, of course. And he said, Luciano, you have to go step by step. First of all, Renault, it's better than Fiat, is true. So you want to go there, you think there is an opportunity, follow the steps. You have to prepare your portfolio, you have to write a letter, send the material, and wait for the answer. Don't get too excited at the beginning. Just keep calm. Let's see what happens. And that's what happened. I got a phone call 1 month later by an incredible man that became my director, in Italian, the ex-director of Renault Design, LCV Design, Piero Stroppa. I write you the name so you can go and check on Google. LCV Renault old director. Okay, you can go and check it out. And Piero, he talked to me in Italian, and he's Italian, and he said, "Wait, ma te chi sei, Luciano?" Because he's from Rome. And I said, "Yeah, who is on the phone?" "Hey, Prasad, ciao." I said, "Yeah, but I thought it was a friend, but with a strange voice." I said, "But who is on the phone?" "Hi, my name is Piero Strop." I said, "Wow, Piero Strop, I can't believe it. I'm fine, thanks." And I said, "Yeah, I am fine. Yes, tell me." He said, "Yeah, we received your letter, your portfolio. For us, it's okay. We have to meet because we have to talk." I said, "Okay, when can we do that?" "Yeah, we should do it very fast. Today it's Friday. Can you be here Monday?" I said, "Oh shit, Monday, how do we do? And how can I do? I don't know. We can meet in Lyon, which is not far from Torino. You don't have to come to Paris. I am going to Lyon because over there we have the industry that makes the trucks and the buses. I have to explain to you the role and what can be the future for you with us." Okay, so he gave me the address. I take my car, and Monday morning I leave very early because we had a meeting at lunchtime. So I take the car, 3 hours driving, and I'm in Lyon. I go with my portfolio again. So we had a talk together. We lunched together. He explained to me the role. At the beginning was basically LCV, okay, truck stuff, big buses, And then he said, "Yeah, but the thing is that I need a manager for this because I cannot do it. You will have your own office. You will be living here in Lyon, not in Paris with us. But I think that if you work well, then you will come to Paris." I said, "Yeah, but there is something that is not working here. What I want to do is this. I start with you here, but then you take me to Paris because I want to go into remote design studio, not stay here. If I had to stay here a year, 6 months to help you out, okay. But after that, I have to go to, unless I won't accept." And he said, no, don't worry. I will talk to my top manager, which was Jean-François Venet, that sadly today is not anymore with us. And then with Monsieur Patrick Lecanon. Okay, so basically they talked between them, and then I received the contract offer. All right, I accepted. I went to Lyon, and then 3 months later, the beginning of year 2000, so we are talking January 2000, I take the train, I close my house, and I go to Lyon. I stay there for about 7 months, and after they said, no, you have to come to be the design manager with us, our projects with Piero in his studio. And that's my real start of the career as a design manager in Renault, that meanwhile became a big group. So lots of experience that were not only in France, but in Romania with Dacia, with Renault India, Design India, when we did a few projects there, and I helped the team on some projects. Then we did Renault Design Academy India for a year and a half, because we did also the New Delhi show with the big concept we made. So then the Chinese experience. Today I'm back in France. So basically this is how I became a car designer. Now, this is a story that looks more like a romance, something like very, very touchy. But there is one thing I want to tell you that is very important, that we really must put in our head. Did you realize that to do all this, I had to go through lots of difficulties? And the difficulties are not economic, okay? I'm the first one to say it. I had to thank always my mother and my father. They are up there, and I hope that they are in glory. I really hope so. For everything they did to support me. But I did have big difficulties to overcome. And many people, maybe they would just stop and would go back. So what I'm saying here is that if you are not stubborn to go for your goal all the way and it becomes your mission, you won't make it. And when I say, when I sketch for you, when I do my online courses, or when I told my ex-students in school, or also when I go and do some lectures in design schools, so another thing that I did, and I'm very happy about that, okay, is that I always say that to be a car designer is probably one of the hardest thing, in life, in terms of field, in terms of professional field. It's really difficult. So to make it into that field, you really have to work hard. And the most important thing, you have to be humble, responsible, work hard, take it as a mission, and don't forget that to go to any school there will be money involved. And most of the time it's your parents or your relative that will put that money. And if it's not that, it will be probably a bank loan, and then you have to repay back. Be very responsible, because those people that are risking investing on you cannot be deceived. You cannot deceive them, because first of all you would deceive yourself. So I had to go through hard times, because of course during all those 6 years in America I had a girlfriend, we had a beautiful life, she was a student also in graphic design, we were helping each other, but believe me, we also had very hard times, and we did not have adults people to advise us what to do. And we had to grow up fast to take decisions. So you find yourself in a situation where you have to grow. You have to grow because you have to become responsible. Because if you don't do it, you get lost. If you get lost, you lose your mission and you won't achieve anything. And when you start working, as a car designer, at the very beginning, it's the same thing. It's the same story that repeats itself in terms of responsibility, engagement, mission, to being serious, responsible, being careful with your money, don't do stupid things, being wise in giving priorities, in overcoming all the problems you might have. Sometimes even to get a job, working permit, it's an incredible problem. But you don't have to get discouraged. Every country have their own rules, and sometimes those rules are complicated. Okay, like in Italy, it's lots of papers. Okay, I know that. In China also in India, because I know a little bit about that. So sometimes the problems are bureaucracy. Some other times the problems are cultural. You have hard time in getting used to the place where you are. But don't forget the mission. At the beginning, every new country can be scary. But believe me, after a while, you get to understand how you get the right pace, so that you are basically moving with the pace of the new society you are part. Okay? And then you learn a little bit more about that society. You learn how to like certain things, and those things you don't like, maybe you ignore them. You learn most of all how to respect that society, and you will be respected. So, when I was in America, I knew I was a guest, because America is not my country. But today I feel a little bit American, to be honest. And when I went to China, it's the same thing. When I went to India, the same thing. But I am Italian, and I will always be Italian. Now it's 21 years I'm in France. I don't feel like a French guy, but I respect a lot how I live here. I like to live here. It's nice. A lot of things are so clean and nice. So I respect a lot. And that's a good way for you to understand how how you can make that extra jump, you know, that extra step. Because getting into car design, starting from school, it means really to make a revolution in the way you lived your life until the day before you started. Okay? So there is some comments I read. Ciao Luciano, bellissimo. Thanks for the eyes. Yeah, that's a restyling project. Yeah, that's my design. No, my design with my boss, Louis Moras, and a launch design company in China that helped us a lot. Would you give us when designing a vehicle for commercial use? How old were you when you applied for Art Center? 19 years old, Matteo, 19. But I started Art Center 2 years later, basically. You were great listening to the script, the human Photoshop, seriously. I want to watch the movie now. Okay, I will make a movie. I will make a sort of an interview movie. Alright guys, I go and drink some water. If you liked what I told you until now and you think it's useful, send me a super sticker, guys, or super chat. Okay, or the link, PayPal link under there to give me a tip. I drink some water, okay, and I'll be back very quick. Okay, so I am back here, and there is also another thing I would like to tell you is that some people, a lovely story. You're welcome, Matteo. My pleasure. Great, sir. Thank you for sharing. My pleasure. Useful. Good. Great. So I would like also to explain another little things, you know, about myself. A lot of people ask me. Yes, let's. Cool. Thanks for the little cars. Can you tell us all the cars you own until now? I owned. Well, I had. I will write down the cars I owned. Okay, Fiat Panda. I got 4. I changed, of course, because I used to change every 2 years, but I got 4 Fiat Panda. Then Fiat Punto. I had a red one. Oh, thank you. There is a super sticker. Thank you, Gatamayan. Thank you very much. Thanks. Make me happy. Grazie. Grazie mille. Okay, then wait guys, take an example from Gunfire. I want to see some super stickers today, yeah? It's a long time. Okay, so then another car I got, it was also Fiat Tipo, the old one. And that one was not that nice. But I got that car because I was traveling to Switzerland teaching. I needed a car that was a little bit stronger than a Fiat Panda because I was driving from Torino to the Alps, going through the pass of San Bernardo and coming down to Switzerland. It was 2 hours and a half of drive, and during the winter was kind of dangerous. Then I had 2 sexy cars. Fiat Barchetta. I show you, I have the model. I will show you. So this is the car, the Fiat Barchetta. And this is beautiful car. This is the best car I ever had from Fiat. Beautiful car, nice. Mine was a British green, okay, with the interior leather and the big wheels. And was a limited edition, so it was a really nice one. This one. Okay, Now I show you, this is the car I've designed, probably you already know, the Fiat 600, okay? This is my baby, my little baby, okay? Hey guys, of course, every time I tell you that I've designed the car, there was a team, huh? There was a team with me, it's not only me, okay? I was a design manager, but I had other designers that helped me out. I don't want to forget that, that's very important. And then I had lots of Renaults, of course, but I had the Velsatis, beautiful Renault car. And today I have a Renault Talisman, but those are company's car, okay? So my Renault Talisman is black. That's what I have today. Then somebody asked me about LCV, you know, what should we do when you do an LCV project? But most important thing for an LCV is has to be functional. Of course, it has to be functional. There is no other way. And then after that, there is a lot of things we can do today thanks to aerodynamic at our own advantage to make it become teamwork, Patricio, exactly, always. And then thanks to aerodynamics, even if we have basically a box to dress with the aerodynamics, today we can take it on our own advantage to make some really interesting designs. You can check online all the concepts about LCV, and you discover a lot of interesting stuff. Mr. Lopez, what are you inspired by when you design a working vehicle? No, mine was not a V6, Rasman, not a V6, because I'm not a super director. That's why I could take the smaller engine. Okay, Javier, as I said, it's mainly functionality. When you do an LCV, you have to know that ergonomy has to be very, very good, because the people that are driving those vehicles have to go in and out, and while driving they must have a very good comfort and ergonomy. That's also for active and passive safety, okay, safety. Then the second thing very important is that the cargo area must have the right dimensions, because if it's too small or it has a strange section, strange box in the back, then probably it's not very useful, so you have to be careful about that. Then you have to be careful about also technology, because they are so big, some LCV, that more technology you have, like cameras, sensors, stuff like that, the better it is for the driver. He can drive more feeling safer, and that's important, very important. And then another thing that you have to think of, and I know that some people don't believe it, but it is true, design is very important. Today's the trends of today's market, and not only in France or in Europe, also in China it's like that, is that people want to be really proud of their working vehicle for their company, with the company of their name on top of it. And therefore the design is important. So you cannot do anymore a design like we used to do 20 years ago or 10 years ago, which basically was very simple. No, you have to get a little bit sophisticated. You have to create emotions, interior and exterior. You have that thing and you say, wow, this is it's mine, I'm driving it, So this is something that you have to consider when sketching or making an LCV project. Okay, all right, guys, I think I said it all. So this design talk, I give you nice news. Tomorrow I have a nice chat with Pratap Bose, okay, and with Pratap we're gonna decide how to organize probably the next design talk, so that we both are gonna be here on the show for you. So prepare your questions just in case, okay? you're gonna be here, and I will have a very nice chat with him to decide how we're gonna have our design talk here on this fantastic Friday show with you, our design talk made on Friday. Okay, so I think that's it. I really hope that you were happy about what I've talked to you today. It was time to give you some extra details about my personal story, about how no, Anish, no, it's not a collaboration. I'm making interview, okay? So if everything goes fine, tomorrow I'll talk with him. He's a super nice guy, and next week I think we're gonna have a very nice chat live with you guys, okay? Okay, so but tomorrow it's not, guys. Tomorrow it's not with you. It's in private, okay? It's not with you. I told you I had to prepare it, so it's just to chat with him. But it's not live, okay? It's not on YouTube. It's in private chat, okay? I do send my car drove for your React videos. Mr. Isterks, I mean, what a name, Isterks. Send it, send it to my chat on Instagram profile, okay? And from there, I will save it on my PC, on my computer, so that then I can print it, all right? It's going to be online. You're gonna write your questions here in the chat. Don't worry, I will manage all that, okay? Just not 100 questions, maybe 1 or 2 questions each. That's something that you can think of doing it, okay? All right? Okay, so thank you very much. You still have a few minutes for a super sticker, a super chat, or for a tip on my PayPal link that you find down here into the description. If you want, you can use that link also later, all right? And I'm very happy that you are all with me for all this time, listening to my story. And I think that now it's time for a little bit of music to say ciao and goodbye. Ciao.